Hey guys, it's Sybil with SybilTravels. I'm here currently on a Carnival cruise to the Panama Canal from Galveston. They do this cruise twice a year. Just wanted to give you guys a couple of things that you should do and not do for just cruises in general. So the top 5 things I would definitely recommend you bring on every single cruise. First thing is a lanyard. You use a sign and sell card or whatever they may call it on your particular cruise for all of your purchases. So you're not using a credit card, but you do have to have that to get in and out of your room. So you're going to need somewhere to put that. I definitely recommend a lanyard for that. Another thing, most people don't know that in most cabins, there's only one, maybe if you're lucky, 2 electrical outlets. So I would definitely recommend you bring an extension cord or something that you can have multiple outlets for your electronic devices. Or if you really want to, just turn off all your electronics while you're on a cruise and just have a great time. Another thing. On most cruises, really it doesn't matter where you're going because obviously you're moving, it's windy. And a lot of times, even if you're in the Caribbean, it can get very cool outside in the wind, but also in the dining areas and in all the main areas. So a lightweight jacket or a sweater is definitely helpful, especially if you're going to go into the main dining halls or if you're going to go to any of the productions and shows and things like that. One more thing you definitely will need is some type of small bag or a backpack or something that you can put your goods in. Even when you're out at port, when you buy something, you probably don't want to be carrying around a bag. So I would definitely recommend like a little small backpack that you can throw in your ID, your sign and sell card, any like fun souvenirs that you've bought, just to keep your hands free. One more thing that I would recommend, and this is just based on my own personal experience on cruises, have either several books that you want to read, maybe some cards or dominoes or some type of games. Yes, they usually do have a library on board, and most of the ships do have card games and different type of board games that you can get in their libraries, but sometimes those get checked out. And while you may really love doing all the activities on board, sometimes it does get a little redundant, especially with trivia. Once you've done 3 or 4 sets of trivia, you probably don't want to keep doing that. So just have something else for yourself to do. The Wi-Fi on board, I'll just let you know, it's 1, really expensive, and 2, it's not that reliable. So if you're expecting to be able to stream videos on YouTube, or if you're expecting to do any type of Netflix, yes, you can download Netflix to your device, but as far as streaming, the internet is way too slow on the actual cruise ships to be able to do that. So just make sure you're finding something for both yourself and for any family members, especially children, to be entertained. This is especially helpful if, like me, I've been on this cruise and we've had really bad weather, so they've shut down several of the pools. So there wasn't, well, one, you really didn't want to be outside because it was so windy, but there's not a lot of things to do that it's not completely packed because people are looking for things to do. So those are the top 5 things that I would definitely recommend you bring on a cruise. I wanted to tell you guys 5 things maybe you shouldn't do if you're planning on cruising. First thing, and I know I'm probably starting off with something that you guys may not agree with, but don't be cheap. Gratuities are standard. They are added to your bill, your account on the cruise. And I can't tell you how many cruises I've been on. The minute the gratuities are added, there is a line 60 people deep to take them off of their account. Guys, this is a job. You are getting a service from your steward, you're getting a service from your wait staff, you're getting a service from your bartenders. If you can't afford to pay the service fee, then what I would suggest is you wait to take your cruise until you can do that, because this is how they make a living. How would you feel if you went into your employer and one day they decided that they couldn't pay you for the service that you provided? That's what these guys are having to deal with when you immediately take off the service fees, the service gratuities. So just think about that before you book your next cruise. The second thing that I would definitely recommend you not do is smuggle alcohol on board. Yes, I understand alcohol is expensive. It is expensive at any bar that you go to. It's expensive anywhere you buy it outside of buying a bottle and going home and drinking it, because you're also paying for the service of someone actually pouring that alcohol for you. If you get caught with it, it will be confiscated. If you really, really, really need to drink a lot of alcohol while you're on board and you can't afford to buy that per drink, because it's going to be $8 to $10, maybe $12 per drink for the lower grade alcohol, and anything in your premiums are going to be a lot more expensive than that, $15 to $20 a shot. And I can tell you they don't always pour a full 2-ounce shot. So just be aware of that. If you're getting pure alcohol, especially if it's premium, I would suggest that you get it poured neat, which means without ice, and add your ice on the side. That way you can monitor how much you're actually getting if you're getting a full 2-ounce shot. And a lot of times, most cruise lines will give you a discount if you get a double up front. So if you order it a double neat and get your ice on the side, you're going to get more for a little bit less money than if you bought 2 singles. That's just a tip from personal experience from some of my friends. There are all-inclusive cruises, which means you're paying for your beverages up front. That may be an option for you. They also have several different beverage programs that you can purchase when you get on board, or you can purchase ahead of time. Usually you get a little bit of a discount if you purchase ahead of time, and you're able to get a certain number of drinks per day included in for a flat fee, and that's usually over $55, $60 per day. But if you're drinking 15, 20 drinks a day, that probably would really reduce the cost per drink if you calculated it out. I will give you one word of caution. If you're buying a beverage package, normally that's required for all parties, at least the first 2 parties in your cabin. So if you have more than one person in your cabin, you have to buy that for at least the first 2. Don't forget to mention if you have dietary restrictions, especially dietary restrictions that cause allergic reactions. If you're going to the main dining hall and you have the same wait staff, the same servers every single night, if you tell them on the first night, they usually remember every single night after that, so you don't have to keep reminding them. However, if you're going to a your time dining type of situation where you can go and eat at any time you want to, if you're going to a buffet or if you're going to a specialty restaurant on board, they're not going to know that. So you're going to have to make sure that you tell them about dietary restrictions every single time if you're doing your time dining, even room service and things like that. But you don't want to be stuck in a situation of going to a medical professional on board, because I can tell you those are very, very expensive and they don't accept insurance. Another tip for you, something not to do, don't expect to be upgraded or change your rooms once you get on board. Most of the packages with any of the cruise carriers, they allow you to pick your room ahead of time. And most of the time they're booked to capacity. So it's very unlikely when you get on board that they're going to be able to upgrade you at all or be able to change your room unless you want to downgrade. Sometimes they do have some of the lower class cabins available, but it's very rare. So if you want to make any changes ahead of time, definitely go through your travel agent or go directly to the cruise line and make sure that you do that at least a week or 2 in advance, because once those cabins are set, you're pretty much stuck with where you are. It's not something you can change once you get on board, because honestly there's just not room. Usually they're booked to capacity. Don't forget to book your excursions. Once you get on board, the excursions sell out really, really quick. And I don't know if you've been to port cities. Most of the ports are very similar. They have very similar shops. They have very similar souvenirs. A lot of things are just created and they buy them abroad and bring them in, and they just have something painted on with whatever the name of the port that you're in. I just got back from Aruba and everything was exactly the same as if I were in Cozumel or if I were in the Dominican Republic. It just has a different name on it. So if you want to actually experience the culture and you want to actually get out of the port area, book your excursion ahead of time. Most of the cruise lines will allow you to book those at least a week or 2 ahead of time. online, and sometimes they actually give you a discount if you do that ahead of time. So they're actually promoting, trying to get you to really schedule things out and consider what you want to do ahead, rather than waiting until you get on board and then having to stand in line. And unfortunately, most of the time you end up with everything's booked up or full. For my instance, I have 30 people with me, and I had to split my group into two for one of our excursions because they ran out at one time. So if you want something specific, if you've researched it, definitely get it ahead of time. You can get off the ship and find vendors outside of the port area that will do excursions for you. That's fine. They're usually a little bit less expensive. The one word of caution I will give you for that is that one, those vendors are usually not regulated, meaning no one's actually regulating what they're offering and making sure you're getting what they're telling you. The second thing is, if for whatever reason your excursion runs late and you don't make it back to port on time, your ship will not wait for you. If you book your excursions through your cruise ship, they will guarantee that you'll make it back on board, because they will wait if the excursion is running late. I hope you enjoyed them. Please subscribe to my channel, go visit my blog page, and if there's anything you specifically want to hear about, please let me know. I would love to give you more videos that you're willing to give a thumbs up to.